let's get to the NFL draft. As I said before you guys came on, I feel like all the buildup to this draft started 15 years ago, or at least it feels like it's been going on for about 15 years. With all the talk about the 4 quarterbacks, Saquon Barkley, what are the Browns going to do? What are the Giants going to do? What are the Jets going to do? Is anybody going to try to trade up? It finally comes to a head this Thursday. Let's talk about this draft, and let's start with the quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. Eric, I want to ask you right off the bat, because when we started this whole process off, it seemed like it was pretty simple. Darnold, Rosen, and Allen were your top 3 quarterbacks, with Mayfield being a distant 4th. Now, over the last couple of weeks, it feels like Mayfield may have put himself more towards the front of the line. What changed exactly?
Mayfield's had a lot of interviews with teams that I guess have gone really well. Impressed a lot of GMs, impressed a lot of coaches, so I know that's moved him up some draft boards. The other 3 quarterbacks, Allen, they're not sure what he's going to be coming out of a small school. Well, I don't think he was the most accurate passer out there. Darnold, I'll be honest, not a fan. Rosen, I wouldn't choose him either. I'm not a fan of this quarterback class outside of maybe Mayfield. If you want to get sneaky late in the first round, early second round, maybe a Lamar Jackson. If you want to get, go that direction, he's got some skill. He's a former Heisman winner as well. So I wouldn't sleep on him, and you can get him way later than you can get any of the top 4 quarterbacks. So I think that is an option for some teams, but I think Mayfield's moved himself up. He's drawn comparisons to like a Drew Brees as far as size and accuracy. He's got that same kind of drive and mentality. He's got a winning mentality. He's a leader. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Mayfield doesn't go 1 to the Browns. I don't think he will. I think they're going to end up going Darnold. I think Barkley better go 2 to the Giants, and then the Jets are going to get their guy and get Mayfield.
Dave, what do you say?
I mean, I think it's, one of those things where the quarterbacks themselves, I don't feel like anybody's that high on anybody. Yeah. And it's one of those things where even like Eric mentioned with Lamar Jackson being a late first, early second, NFL Network and ESPN both did mock drafts tonight, and both of them have Lamar Jackson going in the top 20 picks. So he's jumped now to a mid-first round pick. I'm going to
wait and see on that, though. I really don't think 5 quarterbacks are getting taken in the top 20.
And I'm with you. I am. But there are definitely like what was weird though was, and David, your cousin, mentioned this in the chat room, is that Rosen and I think it was Allen. Hold on. Yeah, Allen and Rosen both are now being based on those mock drafts that I mentioned that were done literally in the last like 2 hours. They were done.
Yeah.
Have Allen and Rosen falling towards the back end of the top 10, if not immediately after the top 10. So,
really?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like Eric said, this is all wait and see. I'm not a big fan of that whole phrase, fake news. We know it's out there, but if you want the definition right now of fake news, then listen to reports coming out regarding the NFL draft. Because every GM, every owner, every coach is out there trying to hide their hand so that they can have maybe the guy they really want fall to them.
Right.
I also think you're going to see some of these defensive players, Vita Vea, the one technique D tackle. That kid, to me, he seems like the guy from what I've seen film-wise. That they're only showing his best highlights, but he looks like a difference maker at that one technique, D tackle, nose tackle position. Love that kid. The safeties that are coming out. I mean, Eric, you could probably even vouch on the linebacker from Georgia.
Roquan Smith, outside linebacker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, I mean, Eric, you probably could speak on him better because you've actually seen the team that you actually watch on a weekly basis play against him. But I mean, I think that this is a draft that's heavy in wide receivers. So I think the top tier wide receivers you're going to see fall farther in the draft, and heavy with defense this year again. And I think that's going to end up being more of your dominant, picks in the first round. And some of these quarterbacks might fall back because, look, let's be honest, as a team, if you can get a guy in the second round and late in the first round and be able to exercise his fifth-year option for a fraction of what it would cost if you took him in the first 5 picks, I mean, that's something right there. So all things considered, though, I have no clue. The only pick I think I know of is Baker Mayfield ending up as a Jet. I feel like everything I've seen, heard, read, fans I've talked to, everybody sees that as a great fit. So I'll throw that. That's one thing I'll throw out as something I could see really happening. And as a Cowboys fan, I really hope Dallas is able to draft that safety out of Florida State.
I think they're going receiver.
I do too, but
yeah,
I think they're going receiver. That's the way Jerry Jones is making it sound. Now, again, could be fake news, but I don't know. That's the report. He's kind of showing his hand, saying, listen, we're going to draft a receiver up high, replace Dez, really show that Dez isn't coming back. And there's a couple of good receivers in the draft. So if a lot of people go, defense heavy, quarterback heavy in the first, bunch of picks, Dallas could sneak in with, the top wide receiver in the draft.
Do you think the kid from
Top
Alabama
two.
was worth the 19th pick?
I would. I love Calvin Ridley. I think he could do a lot of different things on the football field. He's got great hands, great speed, smart player. I would, but that's just me, and I might be partial because I watch a lot of him and I've seen him. But do I think he's going to be Julio Jones? Maybe not, but I do think he could be more of I don't know. Yeah, he'd be a top wide receiver for you guys. And a good young guy to go along with Dak.
Okay.
I mean, he's second in almost every Alabama wide receiving record book. Like, he holds, number 2 in almost every spot. I heard that.
Yeah, no, he's a great player. He's tough. I don't know. I would like him. I think it would be a solid pick for Dallas if they got him. Yeah, I mean, he's the top 1 or 2 wide receivers, out there.
Well, what's the highest you think he should go?
I don't think he should go higher than
if
15,
he went 5.
15. I think 16 and down. 16 and down.
Okay.
Let me ask
if that makes sense. I don't think he belongs in the top 15 because, like you said, you're going to have a couple quarterbacks. You're going to have Saquon Barkley. Going to have a whole bunch of defensive guys. I just don't know if he breaks the top 15, but I think any point after that, he'd be fair game to go.
Now, here's another question, because I know of the 3 of us, you're probably the guy who watches the college football the most here. So the names we've heard the most in this draft are the 4 quarterbacks, Saquon Barkley, the guard out of Notre Dame, Quentin Nelson, and Bradley Chubb, the defensive end out of NC State. You take those 7 out of this draft, which guy do you think is most likely to have the biggest impact in the NFL?
I'm going to jump in really quick, say that D-tackle Vea that I mentioned, the linebacker out of Georgia, or the safety from Florida State, Derwin James. I think those are your top guys once you remove those 7 that you mentioned.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your safety out of Alabama, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Tell us about him a little bit.
He's fantastic. I think any defense would be happy to have him. I don't know if he's necessarily going to go. They're talking about him pretty high at one point. I know top 10-ish, but I don't know if he'll necessarily go that high. But he's a guy I could see going the top 15, top 20. I think he's as solid as anybody in the draft. He's got speed. He's got great instinct. I like what he does on the football field, and he's another guy. Maybe, again, I'm partial, but Alabama is also the number one team in the country for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
So,
all right. I want to do some quick hits right now. Real quick, rapid fire round right now. And this is going to be for all three of us. Most likely to be taken number one from the Cleveland Browns. Dave, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with Rosen.
You're going to go with Rosen. Eric, who you got? Number one.
It's Darnold.
It's Darnold. Okay. I'm going to say Darnold, too. Team most likely to trade up. Not who they are trading with. Team most likely to trade up. Eric, we start with you.
Bills.
Bills? All right. Yeah, that is actually my answer, too. But because you said that, I'm going to say the Patriots. Dave, who you got?
I was definitely going to say Bills as well, and so is your cousin. Apparently, so is you. Eric beat us all to it. So just to change it up, I'm going to say Arizona.
Okay.
They want to make sure they get one of the quarterbacks.
Okay. Most likely that the Giants will do. Saquon Barkley or trade down? Eric, I'm going to go back to you because you're the Giant representative here.
Saquon Barkley.
I think they're more likely to trade down.
I do too. I think you can get as good of a running back and fill some needs if you do that. So we're going to say that.
Haters.
Wait a minute. That's not a hater thing, though. That's actually true.
You don't want us to have our Ezekiel Elliott. What do you mean that's not a hater thing?
Well, wait a minute.
To have a young stud
David, wait. Be fair, David. Back during that draft, did I want the Cowboys to take Ezekiel Elliott or did I want them to take Jalen Ramsey?
We both did. But,
okay.
Eric, the reason why I say they trade back is simply because I think you're thinking win now. I'm thinking they're building for the future. So I think that's why
he's going to be there for at least the next 5 years. What's not the future?
Yeah, what are you going to waste him behind that shit offensive line?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But now you give Eli more time. You give everybody more time because now they're not going to be able to, just play Eli as a pass. They can't just pin their ears back and come at him. They're going to have to respect the run. That's going to give Eli more time. Play action's going to start to work. Everybody on the offense is going to be happier. We have been lacking a run game for years. And it's about time because this guy could be the next big thing. I think he is. I want to draft him number 2.
Team most likely to trade down. Dave, what do you think?
Most likely to trade back?
Trade back, yes.
All right. Well, you know what? We already said the Giants. So we'll switch it up. And I'm going to say maybe the Browns trade back out of 4.
Okay. That's fair. My cousin is throwing up the Colts, which I like. I'm going to say the Broncos. I think the Broncos could be the one to trade back, truthfully. Eric, you didn't chime in. Go ahead, Eric.
No, your cousin David said it for me.
Okay, so we're going Colts on that one. All right, fine.
Colts on that one.
What do we think the Jets do in this draft? And we're back to Eric for this one.
Baker Mayfield.
Dave?
I said it before. I'll say it again. Baker Mayfield.
Okay. I don't know if that's the best move for him, but it definitely looks like they're going Baker Mayfield. So I'll go with that one too. And I lied. We're doing one more question, and then we're off of this because we got to say what we think. To pick the position group doesn't have to be the player. Cowboys. Where do we think the Cowboys go, Dave? Where are you?
Well, like I said, I hope they go with the safety, but I think Eric's right, and they end up going wide receiver.
Eric, who you got?
I think they're going to take the wide receiver out of Alabama.
I think there's a chance they take defensive line. It's either going to be defensive line or wide receiver. I'm going to be the oddball here. I'm going to say defensive line.